Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and today we're going to be going over the upcoming crowdfunding campaigns for the month of July. We have 20 or so crowdfunding campaigns to dive into today, and as usual, the usual notes, disclaimers, what have you. Number one is these are the upcoming crowdfunding campaigns that I have as of right now. Things will change, things get canceled, things get added, things get pushed off, all of that will happen, so this is just what I have at the moment. Number two, I try to focus on, in order to not have a overwhelmingly long video, I try to focus on those that seem to have the most interest or attention. So this usually is going to be campaigns that have 500 or 1,000 followers or more. Not always, but usually I'm trying to work in that range just to make sure we don't clutter this up with, the 78 campaigns that would otherwise be here. And then number three, I don't actually have number three, so I guess we can go ahead and start the video. So with that, starting the video over here, we are going to start off with our channel sponsor. Allplay is a channel sponsor, and they do have an upcoming crowdfunding campaign, and so despite the fact that the rest of these are in alphabetical order, for being a channel sponsor, we're going to go ahead and do their campaign first. We have Kabuto Sumo Dice. This is going to be launching shortly. They're all going to be launching shortly, within the next 30 days as a matter of speaking. But Kabuto Sumo Dice is going to be a trio of 3 campaigns. Kabuto Sumo Dice, Wildberries, and IMPS. Kabuto Sumo Dice is kind of a variant on Strike where you throw these dice into a little box, but you are trying to topple the opponent's wrestlers while trying to achieve various combos and utilize your special abilities. Wildberries is going to be a serial drafting game where you take little balls in order to match various scoring criteria that are variable to give you more gameplay variation, and you're trying to just draft the balls while sticking your opponents with the ones that are going to score them negative points. And then IMPS is a Mancala style game, sort of. It's a Mancala style game with imps and implings as you try to activate their abilities to ultimately get as many points through either, getting your boss into the opposing arena, taking out various imps or implings, and getting rid of the imps and implings from your castle. From there, starting off in alphabetical order over here, we have Artifox. Artifox over here is going to be a lane battling art stealing game with adorable artwork. And one of those things, by the way, the downside of, the AI, generative AI and all those things is nowadays, certain kinds of games automatically get that assumption of ooh, this looks like it could be AI. And I'll admit, Artifax did have that. The problem is what used to be oh my gosh, that's so incredible, that's so cute, that's so great, now is colored with that's good, but is it real though? It removes some of the magic and wonder of artwork. That said, they do have a specific little tag over here saying no AI was used in the making of the game, so now it went from question mark cute to just cute, in case you're wondering. I really hate, AI I have mixed thoughts on AI. If you watch my videos, you've seen my mixed thoughts in general. I don't think it's necessarily as black and white, but I also am very against it for a variety of reasons. And one of the reasons I am very against it is I think it ruins our sense of wonder. What used to be simply, this is the way things are, the entire sense of wonder is gone. Whatever. Different video, different day. Anyways, Artifax, a lane battling art game which you're going to play various cards in order to steal artwork, position, and block from your opponent. Then we have Bullet Galaxy. Oh my gosh, Bullet Galaxy is one of those games where I want Bullet Galaxy. I've had Bullet way back when I had the original campaign. I never actually had any of the expansions. It's such a good game, but it was one of those games that didn't hit the table as often as I'd like, so eventually I reluctantly got rid of it. But it's one of those games I always want to get it back, and then I'm that's just the FOMO part of me that wants the giant box, all the expansions and all the content. It did have great solo play, but I did prefer multiplayer, and so that's the main issue. I do frequently wonder, should I get it back just for solo play? I could justify it more that way. Either way, just know that every single time I see a Bullet expansion, I want it again, and I so far have managed to hold strong. What is Bullet, you ask? Bullet is basically a game which you're going to be shooting bullets. You're trying to clear bullets from your row. Think Tetris, but with abilities, and you're trying to clear those bullets, but whenever you clear a row, you send those straight off to your opponent, which is great and lots of fun, making their life a little bit harder. Combine that with tons of expansions, tons of player abilities, tons of solo characters to fight against, or us, and all of that. There's just a ton of content for this game that's ultimately a Tetris clearing row. This makes me want to get it. That makes me want to get it. So I don't know. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on over here. Chronicles Drunagor Aftermath. This actually just launched, by the way, so 2 campaigns, I think, today. Kemet and Chronicles Drunagor technically already launched, but I was going to do this video for Monday. That's why they're here. I was going to originally do this Monday, and then I didn't research enough of these in time, so it became Wednesday, but that means that 2 of the games are still here. But Chronicles Drunagor Aftermath, Creative Game Studios. This is basically the newest standalone game in the Chronicles of Drunagor line. There was Chronicles Drunagor, there was Apocalypse, and now there's Aftermath. Aftermath is standalone. It is integratable. It provides new characters. It provides new terrain elements. It provides a standalone single-shot mode where you can play and upgrade through the course of a single game session, as opposed to the full arc of the campaign. But that's what this is. It's a dungeon crawler. It's a cube-based dungeon crawler where you have tons of little cubes that activate various abilities. They are tied to different colors of abilities. Combine that with a map that slowly reveals itself as you go through an innovative door system that you kind of like open a door and then like, ooh, I put this here and the enemy's here. Lots of innovative things going on in Chronicles of Drunagor. That said, it is 6 years old at this point, or 5 years old, or something like that. So some of the things that were very innovative back then are less innovative today. That said, I think I've said that said like 4 times. That said, the ratings in general still hold up in this one. That's what Chronicles of Drunagor Aftermath is. We have DC Justice League Unlimited over here. This is basically a role-playing game. I have less information on role-playing games in general because I'm not a role-playing game person. I will say the dice sets look very cool though. If you are a role-playing game person, you should check out the dice sets because these look very cool. I mean, I'm not even a dice person, and I mean, the truth is I'm always intrigued by dice, but I don't actually do anything with them. But they are cool and shiny, and hey, if you want like Batman or Superman dice, now you can go ahead and get them. Also, if you want a role-playing game, that's here too. We have Diables from Salt and Pepper over here. This is going to be a Euro game designed by Danny Garcia, a 1 to 4 player Euro game. This is a slightly longer game than the usual thing Salt and Pepper put out. They usually do like small, shorter boxes, but also smaller games, shorter games, and all that. And now they have Diables over here joining their slightly bigger boxes. I think Voynich Puzzle I think is slightly bigger, but Diables over here I think is their heaviest game. I think I could be wrong from what they've put out so far, but this is basically a Euro game of managing a fireworks festival. Looks amazing. Very interested in this one, but also it's one of those things where like I'm very interested, but it's another Euro game, and I find that Euro games often they look very cool and shiny, but until I play it, sometimes I play them and I'm like, this is very good, but there's so many good Euro games. Other times I play it, I'm like, it's not for me. And other times I play it and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite. Like, I think most of my 5 to 5s last year, this year, whatever, were like these nice solid Euro games. Shackleton Base, Darwin's Journey, Pirates of Maracaibo. Sometimes the way you just get things to get points clicks really, really nicely, and that can land. But also I haven't played Diables, so no thoughts yet. Echobound Adventures. Echobound Adventures from Open Owl Studios, as well as in partnership with Tempest Studios. They basically are building this kind of accessible exploration game that's kind of, how to put this, it's kind of campaign, kind of single shot, but you're kind of progressing through this journey of discovery as you visit various areas, and then the visiting, like the whole, when you visit an area, I have the prototype, I've only played like the one session we have, so to speak, but you're kind of visiting an area and then you're uncovering various terrain and you're interacting, and because you interact with this, suddenly that becomes that, like you're shifting and shaping the landscape of what's happening around you, not like terraforming, but just like, you know, oh my gosh, there's a temple here, but wait a second, now I just grabbed the haunted doll, and so now because of that, there's a witch on this spot, things like that. I'm making up some of those examples, but things like that are happening in this game as you progress and explore. It's meant to be a very accessible exploration game with a degree of discovery, so that's going on. Also, I think I said Tempest Studios, it's Tempest Workshop and Open Owl Studios, just a small point of correction there. Galileo's Truth over here from Thundergriff and Awakened Realms. If you missed it, Awakened Realms took over Thundergriff. They acquired Thundergriff Games, so now, whether for better or for worse, some people are very happy about it, some people less so, but Galileo's Truth is finally launching July 7th after being a pre-launch page for a very, very, very long time. This is from the creators of Darwin's Journey, which has me very excited because, remember, I just mentioned a second ago that one of my 5 out of 5s recently has been Darwin's Journey. I love that game. It's so good. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how good it is. That's what I'm saying. It's a really good game. And Galileo's Truth, I have not played it yet, but I am very excited about this one because it's from the same creators. It seems to have some of the same changing and combos. I did put this in like one of my most anticipated crowdfunding campaigns, with the caveat that just because it's from creators I like, there's many other games from those creators I like that didn't land the same way Darwin's Journey does. But hype relies partially, mostly on emotion. There's less logic in there. So the emotion is, same creators as Darwin's Journey, it must be amazing. The logic is, other games have not hit the same way, so, you know, just hold out and don't be so excited just yet. Then we have HOXFALL. HOXFALL from Tebu. This one is, I had a chance to play this UKGE, so I had a chance to demo it already. It's actually on the table behind me over here. It's on the table behind me over here because we will be doing a gameplay for you. But I already played this one. This one is interesting. I am a little unsure where to feel on this one. Not in a bad way, in a good way with caveats. We'll talk more about this. But basically, HOXFALL is one that, okay, this is something that I don't know if this is true or not. All I know is, because I haven't spoken to Tebu about this, I don't know. This is just having played it at UKG, I was like, oh, I wonder. Because a long, long time ago, when Tebu was first announced, it was actually announced as a Zombicide game system. That's what the original announcement for the Tebu system was, sorry, my throat, was going to be a Zombicide game. And because of that, there was a lot of excitement. It never happened. Fine, moving on with our lives. HOXFALL to me, sorry, I thought I could talk my way past that one, but that got me a little bit, so I need some water. But anyways, HOXFALL to me feels like this might have been what that Zombicide game was supposed to be, meaning more so than any other Taboo game, this feels like it's falling into that Zombicide adjacent territory. You're a bunch of heroes, you're exploring a board, you're shooting a whole ton of things that are trying to kill you. It very much has that feel. Now, the tricky part, we'll talk more about this later. Ultimately, HOXFALL feels like if Zombicide were a Taboo game, that's what it kind of feels like, which might pull you in more, or it might push you away. For me, it has pulled me in more, because as you may or may not know, I kind of like Zombicide, so we'll see. We will see, but I'll talk more about this later. Anyways, HOXFALL, lots of miniatures, you know, explore the board, have various hordes wander around the corner to you. That's like one of the fun things, because, like, think Zombicide had like the spawn points, but in HOXFALL, because it's handled by Taboo, there could be spawn points that are out of sight, that you don't even know where they are, so you just have hordes of zombies slowly heading towards you from different points, and you don't even know how to deal with them yet because you haven't explored the board. The benefits of a digital system is it allows you to do fun things like that. Anyways, moving on over here. Moving on, we have Kemet. Kemet, the Gates of Thonis. This is like the new expansion to Kemet, just launched yesterday. This basically provides 2 new power tiles. It also provides a reworked set of the sacrificial, the emerald tiles, and then it provides a new boards in the sense of like this King of the Hill style gameplay. There's a gameplay on the channel already. There will be a review coming, and that's Kemet, Gates of Thonis over here. Then we have over here Lords of the Manor. Build your estate, feed your workers, outsmart your rivals. This is one, again, going to that AI thing. When you see things, sometimes you're like, oh, it has that AI look. And Lords of the Manor does have that AI look, and then later down on the page, you will see that they did that thing where it's like, okay, great, we have artists who have utilized AI images, but then reworked everything to be a unique piece and all that. So again, I'm not here to comment on the process. I can just tell you that this type of artwork, once upon a time, would have been like, oh my gosh, that looks incredible. But now it just looks like an AI art. That's what it is. That's what I'm just saying. You can do what you want with that information over there. But Lords of the Manor over here, this basically leaning into a lot of keywords over here. If you like games like Seven Wonders, Catan, Agricola, Everdell, and Race for the Galaxy, then you get Lords of the Manor. So good marketing as far as pulling in all those names. From an overlook of the game, it does look like it's going to be mostly Everdell adjacent with changes. There's worker placement, there's placing cards down. The cards are going to create new locations for your workers. There's going to be 4 seasons. So like, you know, again, it does very much hitting all those Everdell notes. And then there's other things, like there's, you know, intrigue cards in your hand. That's not something you see in Everdell, so like there's a different change to that. There's definitely some different elements to it, but it does seem to be leaning into those vibes. Either way, I am still interested despite myself, but interested with like, hey, you know, where is this gonna go? What's gonna be the situation over here? From there we have Mexica, Bridges of Shangri-La, Real Rivals, and Gheos. Gheos, I think it's Gheos. I could be wrong. Anyways, I played 3 of these games. I played Mexica, Bridges, and Gheos because these are all reworkings of existing games, although I will say Real Rivals, I'm not entirely sure, because it says there 4 renowned area control board games return, but Real Rivals, there's like a 2005 title on BGG with like no images or anything, and then there's the 2007 title, which I assume is this one. So I guess I'm not entirely sure of the structure of Real Rivals as far as was it an existing game or not. I don't know, but the other 3 I have played. Now, Bridges was so long ago. Honestly, Bridges and Shangri-La, Bridges and Gheos were a very long time ago, so I don't remember a ton about them. I do remember liking Gheos, Bridges not necessarily as much, and Mexica I actually played recently for the first time in Board Game Arena, and I didn't love it, unfortunately. But these are all relatively well-known, relatively well-received games, other than Real Rivals that I know nothing about, and they're coming to you from Play for Keeps. They're basically coming to you with a campaign which is going to have, you know, these 4 in case you want the new versions of them. Gheos is the one I like the most. It's a long time ago, but I did like Gheos. These triangle tiles, you place them down to try to like create. I don't know if it'll hold up nowadays. I have no idea. I played it when I first got into gaming, and I liked it back then. From there, we have Ringyō. Ringyō from Patterson Games, launching July 7th. Ringyō is basically going to be a tree planting game. I mean, that is what it is. It is a tree planting game. You're going to be planting trees, then harvesting those trees. You're harvesting them for a variety of reasons, including but not limited to utilizing them to build buildings, which will get you points. But you're also trying to research and study those trees, which will move you up the track, which will also gain you points, although it'll get you more points for the trees that you didn't harvest. Like, do you really want to focus on building your buildings and your structures and your economy, and then being a little bit more of a capitalist, so to speak, or do you want to be more of a nature preservist and all that? I don't know if that's what the game is like officially doing, but it kind of does lean you into different lanes as far as whether you are using your trees more or whether you're researching and studying them and growing them more with a degree of sustainable cutting them down, because ultimately, like, you can't really do much with a tree that isn't partially cut down. Like, whatever, it's fine. You're doing all these things with trees. That's what you're doing. Worker placement, trees, samurai, and various village workers and all that will be helping you out in this worker placement game that is going to be all about trees. Then we have Rosalie. Is it really worker placement? It's worker placement on your own board, not really a public board, just so you know. Rosalie, from the people who brought you Sweetlands, and other games too, but oh my gosh, Sweetlands is all the hype and buzz. Sweetlands, I think it's an 8.2 on Board Game Geek, very highly received. That's one that's going to continue to trend well, and it does seem like they're leaning into that with Rosalie. Like, they even advertise, like, the same team behind Sweetlands, the same box size as Sweetlands, like they're doing that whole, like, you know, if you want a bunch of Vital Lacerda games nicely on the shelf, there'll be Sweetlands and Rosalie, and all these cute vibes, but heavy actual decision space, because this is going to be a heavier decision space game, 2 to 3 hours as you can see, 1 to 4 players. This is a game which you're going to be planting roses and managing your business. You're basically planting roses, that's the nature side of things, but you also have to manage your business, so that's the economy side of things, which makes sense, because, I mean, I guess you could have games that are just business and games that are just nature, but like this kind of hybrids the two together to give you, I mean, both in terms of like the cutesy look combined with the heavy game, as well as the like nature preserve like Cascadia, but not really because it's much more of an economic engine, kind of merging those two lands, which is something they already did with Sweetlands, and they're leaning into that. I think there's a fun vibe for that. The more we see games drift towards coziness over time, the more we're also even seeing that same drift happen within the larger Euro games that, you know, garnish our shelves. Garnish, that could be like a rose thing. Anyways, Sweetlands, not Sweetlands, Rosalie, launching soon. The Crucible from Nocturna, a dark fantasy narrative game with tactical combat and miniatures, launching shortly over here. This one's launching in 6 days, oh my gosh, tons of miniatures over here. This is going to be exploration, you're going to be wandering around the board, engaging in combat. I don't know a ton about this one yet. We will have coverage for you on this one, but I haven't dove into this myself because Meg is handling this one. But anyways, yeah, The Crucible. We'll have more content for you soon. We have the Isle of Penguins, launching on July 7th as well, from Frank West, the creator of the Isle of Cats. The Isle of Penguins 10 years later returns to go ahead and bring you penguins instead of cats. Very interested in this one because I don't know much about the gameplay changes, but the Isle of Cats is a polyomino game that I've always wanted to like more than I did, which means the Isle of Penguins could absolutely leave me hanging. It could be a terrible game that I'm like, you know, well, terrible is probably a stretch, but it could be like, okay, great, I've always wanted to like Isle of Cats more than I do, maybe Isle of Penguins is still the same thing. Or it could be the changes necessary to bring me from liking to loving the game. This happened recently with Let's Go to Japan, which I like Let's Go to Japan, but I love Let's Go to France. Like, Let's Go to France, oh my gosh, I cannot get enough of that gameplay. But then I went back to Let's Go to Japan, and I was like, nope, it hasn't changed my mind, Let's Go to Japan. Let's Go to Japan is still not as good as Let's Go to Japan. So maybe that happens with Isle of Penguins. I would love to, because honestly, I should do a video. I should do a video on 10 games I wanted to like more than I did. That would be a good video, and I think I could do that because I think I could easily get above 10. There have been some games over the years that I wanted to love, and very rarely did I dislike them, but more often than not, I'm like, I want to love you, but I just like you. So like, I can't keep a game I just like. That's inefficient. I'm not going to do that. So I'll do a video of 10 games I wanted to love more than I did. Anyways, Isle of Cats is probably going to be in that video, by the way, in case that wasn't clear. Anyways, Lord of the Rings Ascension. Lord of the Rings Ascension from Still Entertainment. This is going to be, you know, it's Ascension. It's Ascension, but with Lord of the Rings. That's basically what this is. If you've played Ascension, it's a deck building game. One of the games that popularized deck building along with Dominion. Not the game that, you know, came up with it, but Dominion and Lord of the Rings, Dominion and Ascension were the two games that really took deck building to the next level as far as general popularity, reception, renown, all of those things. All those keywords that tell you that people know what it is. But Ascension is coming back to you with a Lord of the Rings set over here. I am intrigued because I've never loved Ascension. I've always been more of a Lord of the Rings person. Honestly, even more Dominion person. And it's not even just the mechanics, it's even the visual aesthetic of it. I've never been quite as pulled into Ascension the same way. It has this darker, grittier feel to it, which I don't mind in some games. I think it's just a vibes thing. It's a vibes thing. But either way, with this one, I am definitely more interested because most, if not all, of the Lord of the Rings games that I have played recently, I've enjoyed. I've enjoyed the trick-taking. I've enjoyed the Pandemic one. I've enjoyed the you know, Seven Wonders Duel one. I've enjoyed all of the Lord of the Rings Resurgence games that we've seen from the ones that I managed to table. I am very curious whether that's going to happen over here with this one. Again, I like deck building, so that's a good start. I like Lord of the Rings, that's a second good start. The question is, will it feel just more like Ascension with a Lord of the Rings theme, or will it feel good enough that I'm interested? I don't know yet, but there are going to be 3 sets, Fellowship, 2 Towers, and Return of the King, so I definitely have an opportunity to find out. I just don't know yet. Then we have Yumegari over here. Yumegari, our second last campaign, I guess? Yumegari over here from Lucky Duck Games. This one is... it's interesting. It definitely has a cutesy vibe, first of all. Love the artwork, love the presentation. I am very interested, but also uncertain on this one, because this is like a tile drafting. It's passing tiles. You're drafting tiles, you're placing them down, you're fulfilling like kind of orders or goals or whatnot. And I love the cutesiness, I love the vibes, I love tile layers, I love trying to be mindful of multiple goals. I will say, reading through the page, I wasn't quite sure whether we'll have enough thinkiness for me. Like, I like games like this, but it's gotta be crunchy. There's gotta be so much decisions going on that I'm like, well, if I place this here, I'll I'll get points from that. If I place this here, I'll also get a placement bonus, but also I'm trying to be mindful that you're working your way toward that goal, plus I have my 3 private goals. What do I do? And also, if I pass you these, you're going to benefit from that. So I want crunchy decision space in this game, and I don't yet know if it's going to give me that. It feels like it's a little lighter than what I want from looking over the page. Now, I could be wrong. It could be crunchy. It could be, like, over here. These are scoring cards over here. This can be, like, the main thing. Like, do I feel like I'm simply trying to do the obvious move, or am I really mentally processing 17 different things that need to be done and trying to find the best way to accomplish all of those, along with some degree of risk management and, like, you know, what's it called? What's the right word for it? Basically analyzing the odds, whatever you want to call this. There's a terminology for that, but analyzing the odds and figuring out what's more likely to be pulled, how will it get me my goals. I want crunchy, and I'm not yet sure if this will be there. If this has that, I'm very interested. If it doesn't, then it's cutesy and nice and all that, but like, at this point, because these kinds of games, I like them so much, the best of the best are the ones that I keep, and ones that are simply good don't tend to stick around. Like, even Whisperwood, which I still have Whisperwood for right now, that's one where I was like, I don't know, like, will this last, will it not? And like, it's still here for now, but like, the biggest problem I have with Whisperwood is despite the variability of the scoring goals, I don't know why we're talking about Whisperwood now, but we started this, so it is what it is. Despite the variability of the scoring goals, I do find most of the scoring goals still feel too similar. There are some that feel meaningfully different, but like, for example, the witch hat placement, like, they all score the same way, you just have a different restriction of how you place them out. It doesn't feel that interesting to me. So I love Whisperwood as a concept. The variability isn't where I want it to be. It's one of those games that I'm almost hoping, like, do I hold on to it for long enough to see if an expansion comes out that could bump it up? I like Whisperwood. I just don't like it as much as things like Spectacular or things like, I don't know, what other games do I love in the genre? Obviously Cascadia, Calico, the new Cascadia is great. Lots of games. We shall see. Anyways, Yumegari. I'm interested, if that wasn't clear. And then lastly, that brings us to not Whisperwood, but Wispwood. Other way around. Did I say other way around? I screwed that up. That was so cute and so clever, but I messed it up. That brings us to not Wispwood, but Whisperwood. That wasn't a set plan segue, but it did kind of work out. Although now I'm wondering, I'm second guessing myself as to whether I said Whisperwood 5 times when I meant Wispwood. I don't know even more. I don't know. Anyways, Whisperwood, a totally different game, not at all related, from Carbon Alchemy. This is going to be a tableau building game of the forest and the wild. Save the forest. You are a druid tasked with saving the forest, and you're going to do so through tableau building, kind of. You're building up your tableau. You're getting more efficient with the actions. You're placing things down. I had a chance to play this briefly at Dice Tower West this past year. Actually, speaking of which, if you're watching this now, why are you watching this now? You should be playing games at Dice Tower East at the moment, but if you are at Dice Tower East, I believe they are demoing this, so if you happen to be watching this video while at Dice Tower East, first of all, thank you, and also go play Whisperwood, just because, like, why not? Anyways, those are the campaigns, which brings us to the end of the video, which means it's my picks of the month. Picks of the month, the 3 games that I am the most interested and why, and going in order, we have number 1, we have HOXFALL. I don't know with HOXFALL. I don't know where things are going to go with this one. Here's the thing. This is almost certainly my favorite experience with Taboo so far. And that, it mimics Zombicide, but it did things you can do with Taboo that you can't do with a traditional tabletop experience. So it gave me Zombicide plus, so to speak. The 2 things holding me back. One is less holding me back and more just a commentary on my experience with Taboo, which is, in general, whenever I've played a Taboo game, I've usually played the prototype version before the final game. Like, I've never really played a final Taboo game system, so I've always played the on-rails version. Vampire the Masquerade, played the tutorial. Bad Karmas, that probably had the most gameplay experience to it, and I probably enjoyed it the most. Sword and Sorcery, an on-rails tutorial. So I've never, and even HOXFALL, when I played at UKG, I'm playing a semi-on-rails tutorial. Not really fully on rails, but definitely a dialed-down experience to introduce you to the mechanics of the game and not get the fully fleshed-out sense of everything. Having played games like Zombicide, the tutorial mission is usually the least exciting. It's not really the full experience you get. So what I say is this, I don't even know if I'll know. If you ask me in 4 days, I'll have played this again and gone through the tutorial again and having more experience with it. I don't know if I'll know yet. I think I need to play the final missions of this game whenever it does come out to see where things are, because I really, like, this is the one that makes me want that the most. So I'll have more thoughts down the road, but like further down the road when I, for the first time, fully engage in a Taboo system, because it most mimics the gameplay experience I most want. The thing that always has me hesitant is, as much as Taboo allows you to do things that traditional tabletop don't allow you to do, this is a longer, like, here's my 3 games at the end. As much as Taboo allows you to do things that a traditional tabletop experience don't, the thing that holds it back is things like clicking a mini on the board. Like with Zombicide, if I'm like moving a bunch of minis, I'm like grab, it takes 2 seconds. With something like a Taboo system, you're a little bit more precise. Granted, the enemy horrors, you kind of do just grab, so that's a little easier, but trying to like match it to the digital experience can kind of slow you down a little bit. So there's pros and cons here. I am very interested. This is the one that I want to explore the most from any Taboo game I've played so far, and this is the one that I likely will explore the most. So it both is my number 3 pick over here with a whole lot of explanation, because like, I think Taboo's been in a weird place for me so far, and this is going to be the one that figures out whether it breaks past that. Number 2, we have the Isle of Penguins. Color me excited for this one. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Let's go to Japan. Let's go to France. Gives me hope. We shall see. Plus penguins. I mean, I prefer cats over penguins, but like the Isle of Penguins, for some reason, it feels so magical. We shall see. This is my number 2 pick of the month. And my number 1 pick is going to be Galileo's Truth over here. I will say what's interesting is very often when I do the picks of the month, I'm often picking games that I've played that I like the most. Things like, oh, Kemet or whatnot, or what's it called? Chronicles of Drunagor Aftermath. Those don't excite me as much. Kemet a little more so. Chronicles of Drunagor Aftermath is more of Chronicles of Drunagor. That's great. Kemet, 2 new power tile sets. I mean, again, well, you'll have a review soon. I like Kemet. The biggest challenge I have is Kemet doesn't hit the table as often, so it's hard to be as excited by new content, even though I am excited by more combinations of power tiles, but it didn't make the cut over here. What made the cut over here is going to be the ones that give me that potential. Kumagari over here, Yumegari from Lucky Duck almost made the cut, but it feels a little bit too light. I'm not quite as certain. But Galileo's Truth over here, I am very interested, excited for this one. No idea if it'll work or not, but that is, that color me interested, and we'll see what happens. Anyways, those are your upcoming games, upcoming crowdfunding campaigns for the month of July. I hope you have an excellent month. Until next time, I'm Alex Rack from Board Game Co. And as always, I hope you have a good one. So when I was getting my degree, I switched to archaeology, and I completely regret my choice. My career is in ruins.